really good to have you here. You know, this is something that this really means a lot to me, to be able to be here today and look out, see everybody, and to actually be able to shake your hand and talk to you, hear your stories. Compaq was a big part of my life, and for a lot of you, it probably was a big part of your life. This actually came out of an idea that started 2 years ago when I began to think about the memory of Compaq sort of drifting off into oblivion. And I didn't like that very much, because we had done some amazing things. And so I decided that something that had been tossed around and thought about off and on for a long time, writing a book about Compaq, you know, it was now or never. It was way past the time has come. It was literally now or never. And so, not ever having written a book, I called up Russ Setzkorn, and we ventured into this journey, not knowing what we would find. And about a year after that, we decided that, you know, the 30th anniversary is coming up. We need not let that pass without using that as a way of getting people together and also reminding people of this part of their lives, and actually using the opportunity to renew friendships, but also get some stories from people. You know, there's so many great stories about things that were done at Compaq that were just done differently from other companies. And, you know, when I hear them, I love hearing them, but I also think, we didn't think that was anything strange. That's just the way you did things, you know, because you did things that made sense. You know, you tried to do the right thing every time. You always had ethics and the law in mind, never coming close to the edge. You stayed right in the middle of the road. And all of that together built a pretty doggone strong company. So, here we are today, you know, the fruits of all of that, with all the great volunteers that helped put this together. So a little bit about the book. The book has been fun. It actually, for 18 months, it was terror. But we gathered a lot of information. We actually had Russ go around and tape interviews with, what, about 16 or 17 of the early people, 20 people before it was all over. So we've got that actually on video now that we'll use first to get their stories and their insights on the different things, and then later we'll do something lasting with that. It'll be on a website. Hopefully there'll be a Compaq museum at some point where, using modern museum technology, those videos will be available. But we learned so much by listening to people, and actually then I had saved about 10 boxes of newspaper articles, magazine articles, videos, news clips, everything that sort of went on during those years. And they were in a closet. I knew they were there. I'd see them every now and then, but just had really never gotten into them. But it was time to dig in and start reading the articles and remembering all that had happened and how it had happened and what people thought, what we thought. And it was amazing when we began to put all that together, because not only was it, that part was really fun. As a story began to emerge, it was really an exciting and interesting story, something I didn't expect. You know, we all love the stories, you know, about how we started in the pie shop, and there's many stories of things that, you know, working in the factory to get the first Despros out, or, you know, when we had to replace the capacitors on the portable. Many of those along that they're a legend now, because everybody pitched in and helped. You didn't worry about what department you were in. So we've got all of those, but there was a whole different level of story that emerged, and it was basically the influence that we had on the PC industry and how that ended up helping form the way PCs, and in fact, mobile, iPhones, iPads, and others, how all of that works today. It was a direct result of all the things, the PC wars, we began to call it, that were fought in the 80s, to a great degree between IBM and Compaq, although there were a lot of other battles on the side and skirmishes, you might say. So that became the storyline that I began to pursue, and that's really started to come together. I think everybody probably knows that there's now a mini version of that in ebook form on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and others. And I picked those pieces and put them there so that you would have a flavor for what the real book is like, the whole book is like. First 2 years, of course, is where we really went from zero to a leadership position. We weren't the leader, but when the dust settled after the first year, we were clearly one of the top 3 of the PC industry, which was that by itself was a phenomenal accomplishment. But it really was just the start. It was the entry into the next era that Compaq began to fight with IBM. And so the last chapter of the mini book, I just had to put we started calling it the silver bullets that IBM would begin to fire at us. And they introduced their IBM Portable. It was supposed to kill us. I'm sure a lot of people in Compaq thought it might. Certainly all the analysts and press seemed to, because they said that in their articles. When it didn't, it was the beginning of a long sequence of surprising outcomes where Compaq was supposed to go down, and when the dust settled, we were on top and continued moving up. So that's what you'll find when the rest of the book comes out. We don't know exactly when it'll be published. There will be a hardback version, I guess a paperback eventually if there's enough demand, but it'll primarily be the hardback and the ebook version. And we'll let you know about that through the website as time goes by. Some of you may have gone to the website more recently and just registered for the reunion, but if you haven't actually registered to be a member of the Compaq alumni group, it would be great if you did so we can inform you as we get more of the timing down. Okay, so how are we doing on time? We okay here? We got a few more minutes. This is something that came out of the writing of the book. One angle, one aspect of it. And the question is, how would we like Compaq to be remembered? I mean, do we just want to be remembered as one of the many startups of the early PC industry that got off to a fast start and then faded away? Does anybody think that's really all we were? Thank you. Well, it seems to me like we're more than that. Well, would we like to be remembered for our sales records? I mean, we were the largest first-year sales in history, fastest to the Fortune 500, fastest to $1 billion. I mean, that's really impressive. Those really haven't been passed yet. But, you know, sales records, after the while, don't mean that much. You know, people forget about that, and really they're not that important. They were a way of actually marketing ourselves at the time, but that's certainly not the thing to be remembered long term. How about for being a PC technology leader?